Okay, so some people are opposed to Christianity. All right, that's a given. But some people are actually claiming that Christianity is taken from other religions, as if other religions are older than Christianity. And we somehow borrowed and pieced together all these things into a belief system and put a label on it and said, we're Christian. Well, I guess I should probably do a video on that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get like a Christian t-shirt. Yeah, and I can go out somewhere and I can share scriptures. Obviously I can talk about Genesis 1 that says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. That's a pretty good place to start. Yeah, you can't really go back before the beginning. I could also point out how God called the light day and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe in Psalms where it says, of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth. Or maybe I could share some New Testament scriptures with them, like in Matthew, where it says, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Let's see. Ephesians is also a good one. And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from the beginning of the world hath been hid in God, who created all things by Jesus Christ. Yeah, these are good scriptures. Like 2 Thessalonians. I know that says, because God has from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth. And of course 1 Peter, but with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world. See, the lamb was slain from the foundation of the world. That's so simple. Why can't people figure that out? So if I just do a teaching, I could share, I know, I'll write a poem. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll write a poem. Let's see. It could go something like this. Nothing now is, nothing ever has been, and nothing ever will be older than Christianity. Nailed it. Oh yeah.
The Annunciation of Apollonius of Tyana, that happens. The god Proteus appears to his mother and said, you're going to bear a divine child. Well, who's it going to be? It'll be me in human form. And then there's a miraculous event, and then he's born. Alexander the Great, Caesar Augustus, loads of others had, both in the Mediterranean and elsewhere, had these miraculous births. Sometimes virgins, but not the husband in any case. Then there's the child prodigy story. They're modern and ancient examples of that, but it's pretty widespread that he's really a god. He already knows everything. Then he goes on to heal people. Well, Asclepius healed all sorts of people. Apollonius of Tyana did. Apollonius was a major exorcist like Jesus, because they know who he is. And the messianic secret thing, where Jesus tells everybody to shut up, like Dennis Ronald MacDonald pointed out, that could well come from the Odyssey. Once Odysseus gets home, he tells everybody to keep it under wraps. The crowning of Jesus, that's part of, by the people. They hail the Son of David and all that. As Dundas points out, that's a classic part of the mythic hero archetype. But then the same people turn on him. The same kind of reversal happens there. I forgot to say the persecution by a tyrant when he's an infant. That's told of Caesar Augustus, Moses, Krishna, Zoroaster, and so on and so on. The passion narrative, that's most like the dying and rising God thing. But even if you secularize it and have him stand trial before the Roman procurator, there's a very very similar one in Apollonius's life, where he's made to stand trial before the Emperor Domitian and miraculously gets out of it. The notion of post-mortem appearances, Romulus, who vanishes during a battle, no one can find any trace of him. He appears several times to the senators and others, and he says in one version, I've now become the god Quirinus. In another one he said, I was a god and came to earth. But in any event, they say he was a king of Rome, and he said, one day Rome will become a great empire if you guys go forth and spread my worship, and so on. Apollonius even appears in a doubting Thomas story to one disciple who just cannot believe in immortality and figures even the sage is dead, even though he's ascended bodily into heaven. And Apollonius appears to him, though no one else can see him, and convinces him that indeed he's immortal, and so will the disciple be. The empty tomb stories, you find a few of those in contemporary novels, like Cariton's Kyrios and Calirrhoe, where this guy's lover has been killed, he thinks, though she's only in a coma. She's been prematurely buried in an opulent tomb, and he comes to visit, but in the meantime, the tomb robbers, seeing that it is a rich person's tomb figure, there must be all kinds of goodies in there they can steal, so they open it up, and she's reviving, and they don't want a witness left to their theft, so they kidnap her. Here come her friends and relatives to find the tomb open, and the grave clothes left there, and says, oh, the gods have taken her up. They were jealous of me and my love, and then he realizes that no, she's just been kidnapped, and goes off to find her. And in the course of the adventure, he gets crucified but survives it. And the same thing happens in a few more of these novels all around the 2nd century. Well, you got crucified heroes that survive the cross. You got people that are entombed alive in rich people's tombs to attract tomb robbers. And then you have a final reunion scene where they think, you must be a ghost. I gave you up for dead long ago. No, it's really me. You begin to think all of this stuff was well known. These are popular novels and popular myths and so forth. Is it pure coincidence that this stuff shows up in the Gospels? I don't think so. I just don't see how you can say, oh, no, none of that matters. I'm a big comic book fan. Suppose you said, well, Batman, the Martian Manhunter, the Green Lantern, well, these are clearly just fiction, but Superman, now that really happened. There's just no reason to think that. They're all comic books. And so I just see the same thing. In fact, there's this great 60s story about Superboy. He somehow gets a hold of a history book from the future. He can travel through time. And he sees in this history book that they say, well, there used to be many fantastic characters of folklore that never existed. Santa Claus, William Tell, Paul Bunyan, and Superboy. He goes, hey, what's this? And so he goes into the future to demonstrate to these people that he was a real historical figure. Well, though the joke's on the reader, right? Because there wasn't a Superboy. Even this is just a story. And it seems to me that's what's going on with all these apologists. Yeah, this dying and rising God who went through the whole thing, this one is true. Apollonius of Tyana, oh, no, that's just silly. But Jesus, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't think it would be better if there were no Jesus. It's a matter of indifference. And there might have been, but it just seems to me the burden of proof is on the person that would say that there was, because it's just special pleading again. You want special treatment for your favorite savior. I mean, why are there no Mithraists or Apollonius of Tyana advocates out there making these cases? No, it's only representatives of fundamentalist Christianity.
This movie teaches you so much about different religions. For example, the story about Jesus and Mary and Joseph is a story that has been told before. Tell that story. Tell it.
Well, God had a son.
Do like Jesus told it.
And he said, Jesus, I'm sending you on a suicide mission. But don't worry, they can't kill you because you're really me.
You know, you say
wait a minute. That story is not original with the Christians.
I'm not going to have my faith mocked either.
A God who was born on September 25th, okay, who was
December 25th.
December 25th, that exact birthday.
Right.
Okay. By the way, the church did not set that birth date until the year 349 A.D.
Sure.
So,
There are a lot of things that were set up by man in terms of...
right. Okay. But the God who was born of a virgin, died, was resurrected 3 days later, died for everybody's sins.
Right.
That was an old story going around the Mediterranean for 1,000 years. Horus is an Egyptian, exact same story. He raised somebody named Lazarus from the dead.
But
Mithra,
Phil,
a Persian
what does
god.
that mean
Krishna,
to you?
the
But-
Indian god.
Because I know in believing God, you have to suspend a lot of logic in believing God. But when you did this movie, you talked to a lot of people about God. Have you ever just talked to God and asked God, what does he think?
Well,
God will talk to you, Bill. It'll be real
The
deep.
question, did he answer you?
Did he answer? He answered me. He
Well, then we should
absolutely
call
answered me.
Bellevue.
No,
If-
we
if
don't
you
need to call
think-
Bellevue.
Because that's
Did
just
he
a
answer you?
that's just a voice
No,
in
it's
your.
not a voice.
You mean a God?
Conversation?
God
You should go see Rich.
Judgmental.
Alice,